See, if you understood the fact that she went through this 3 times, okay?
2.
Well, you had that other one too.
Oh, that was nothing though.
Okay, but the 3 times, and then she had a full mastectomy, double mastectomy. Well, the history behind that had nothing to do with parts of her body. You follow me? It had to do with her as a person. So when you say there's love, it's always after marriage. If you don't build a foundation, okay, well, if somebody gets a pimple on their face, I'll get divorced. It's just that easy. And I had cancer as well, you see.
A year after, when I was 57, I had a lumpectomy and, chemo and the whole. A year later, he had a thyroidectomy and he had cancer. Now we're going back 25 years ago, 24 years for him. And we were fine, knock on wood.
And don't forget what you're hearing is only one vocal cord. I
So,
lost a vocal cord, part of my esophagus.
Wow.
So, it's the way it is.
but we both, recovered very well.
That God was good to us. He gave us extra life.
Then I got it 4 years ago in the same breath, but I couldn't get a lumpectomy. I had to have a mastectomy. And I decided I wanted a double because I didn't want to think about it.
And that's when
It was 21 years in between.
because you had came in, I haven't seen you in a while, and you had came in and you had said that you had breast cancer.
Yeah.
And it shocked me because
Shocked him too.
and I said, I will pray for you. You're going to be fine. I remember telling you that. And you said, thank you. And then you had the surgery.
Yeah, I had, but a year later, it seems like we follow each other. He needs the sympathy that he gave. A year later, he had open heart surgery 3 years ago, and recovered beautifully. We both did because we were in good health and very active. Jerry still spins a couple days a week.
Wow.
At this age, so we're both in good. Should only stay that way. But it's what happens.
My word is that I know that you guys just think it's just so normal, but I'm here to tell you it isn't. People get divorced over those very things.
For nothing.
Yeah.
And to hear you talk about it's like you're talking about like it's just running water. You know what I mean? It's just like it happened, we got through it, it's okay. But it's not. Because today's society looks at it like that's worth getting a divorce over.
Well, there's another issue here. It's called emotional intelligence. Everybody is dealt a deck of cards. And most of them are not serendipity. Some of them are, but most of them are normal. But there are how you handle that situation emotionally takes intelligence and takes discipline. What useful purpose is going to be served by me saying, I want to get divorced when somebody gets sick? What, the next one I'm going to go to is who's not going to get sick?
Right.
And then there's going to be a big learning curve on top of that because there's baggage. So you know what you got, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yes.
You see. So consequently, that emotional intelligence has got to be developed through adversity over the years. You've got to acquire it. You've got to be above the fray instead of part of the emotional upheaval. That means you got to be quiet, you got to think, and you got to start to say what's best for the other person instead of what's best for me. If it's not good for them, it's not going to be good for you.
I think one of the things, with marriage, when you say about staying together, being together, there's certain things important to me. Like one of them that I can think of is travel. He traveled all his life for business, so to him travel was a pain. But he never has refused to go somewhere that I wanted to go, ever. And
See, now there's a perfect example.
yeah, it's a big
about
thing.
pacing. So she wants to travel, and I don't. So what's the big deal if I travel?
And you have a good time when we go.
Right beside the point. The point is, I'm going, okay? What would I do if I stayed home?
Yeah.
So consequently, if she wants to pay a bad pace along, she wants to travel, we'll travel.
So I guess my point is, after 61 or 62,
It'll be 60.
it'll be 62 years of marriage. Your keys that you're saying to a long marriage, if I'm hearing you correctly, is love starts after marriage.
And it's give and take. And I think a good thing is if people would say to themselves, is there more good in here than bad? And when there's more bad, like you said, people who drink, people who gamble, people who are druggies, that's another story. But if you're two people and there's more good than bad, then stick through the bad and enjoy the good.
And Jerry?
Well, it's, it's the same thing we're saying again. And the only illustration of that, an acquaintance of mine, not a friend, I saw him at, where I work out, and his name is Jim. And he wasn't happy. And I said, Jim, seemed to be, something's wrong. He says, well, I'm getting divorced. And I said, gee, that's a wonderful thing to do. And he looked at me. I said, there's got to be an overwhelming reason why you're getting divorced. It's got to be like, wow. Well, I don't get along with my wife. I said, do you have any children? I have 2, 8 and 10. So I said, what do you think about the children? You think it's going to affect them or not? Well, one thing led to another, okay? And he was still getting divorced, and he starts going with this girl, Jacqueline. So I said, after all, I said, Jim, I said, how's you and Jacqueline? I'd like to get rid of her. So I said, I said, how's your kids doing? Isn't that your first priority instead of you saying you don't get along? Maybe you're 51% wrong and she's 49% wrong. Why don't you get up here? So now this just happened, so we'll see if he gets up here. But it's easy to get divorced. But then you have to say selfishly, the children suffer. The future's going to be bleak because there is no history, there is no love, there's no continuity, there's nothing there.
I'm going to tell you the reason why I chose you two. I met you guys when I first started, and you guys were so in love. I've never seen a couple have so much fun with each other. And you pick on each other, and I'm thinking, wow, this is how you want to be. And you pick on me too, but you show me the love. Well, what you gonna do with Jerry? You just gotta love all over. And I look at them like, wow, where are the couples who are still in love?
We're happy with life. I think that's a big part
Yeah.
of it. We have had a good life. We've been very fortunate.
God's been good to us.
Yeah, I mean, we have bad, everybody has
Everyone
bad
has
parts,
bad, but I'm saying
But
you
we're-
still, when I look at you two, it's like looking at two kids in love again. It's like you're still touchy, you still kiss, you still hug, you are still romantically connected. I know marriage couples, and they're not romantically connected. They're going through the motions. But you two are romantically, everything about you two are one.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
I'd like to correct a little bit. I don't know what the word romantic means. I really don't. I only know this much. It's an accommodation
Okay.
more than it's romantic. Romance is, again, an emotional aberration. If it's a case, if I didn't respect her, you would see it.
Yes.
Okay, it's the other way around as well.
right.
But the word romance that's something you do maybe before marriage, a little bit after marriage and so forth, but it isn't romance as much as we've accommodated each other. And I can tell you what she's thinking, she can probably tell you what I'm thinking, and what my actions are and hers and so forth, and you subliminally accommodate that.
Yeah, that's good because you accommodate. You say, oh, today he's a nut. It's okay, tomorrow he'll be different. Or vice versa. You learn to accommodate each other. And I think if you're happy in life and with other people, and then you're happy together. You're not, neither one of us are picky at people or look for the bad in things or anything like that.
That's another one. There's two things. There's something called ANT, A-N-T, automatic negative thoughts. Well, if you can't identify your partner, that's the way she thinks. I have a daughter that thinks negatively every time, okay? The trick is to change it around and think positively about whatever that is, instead of saying, oh, that's no good because I don't like it. It's, wait a minute, maybe it is good. The thing that's missing in a lot of marriages, and it's a euphemism for, I don't even open it's an excuse, communications. There is no such thing. I hate to go say that way, but it's, communication is body language, experience, you know, about things that you're gonna do, accommodating each other. It's a closed type of communication. Today people think, sit down and talk to each other. Well, you go to a therapist and you sit down with two people, there's gonna be a fight. A fight. So the thing in our communication is, we just understand. Like I said to her today, we're going out for dinner, no, I'm making dinner. No conversation, that's the conversation. I didn't say what I wanted, how I wanted, when I wanted it, and so, because I have confidence that she's going to make the best she can.
Wow.
Versus somebody else gets into this, how are you going to make that? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? What time is it going to be done?
Never
Right.
get dinner and
Well,
You get a pot full of the window falling out.
don't fall prey to that thing. Is communications is going to be a key.
and no soulmates.
It goes, whatever, that's another one, we're soulmates.
That's
See,
when you're
I
in
don't
lust,
even know
you
who
got
comes-
soulmates, and as soon as you're out of lust, the
I don't know who
soulmate's
comes up with
gone.
this. I think there are advertisements on the radio and television, meet your soulmate.
I met my soulmate.
And communications is the key. In my profession, communication is something I understand. On the other hand, you know, I can tell by body language what a person's going to say and how they're going to say it. When I look at the president speak, I can tell you that he's lying. No, he's lying. There's a big difference. Now, Al Gore did the same thing. Is that when he got up there, he said one thing, but his body language gave him away. That's communications. The communications is body language.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard that before. Communication is body language. I am going to take that one.
Watch, there's going to be a good 60 to 80%. Watch people, you know, come in a restaurant or so forth and say certain things. Did he really mean that? You know what I say? Did he really say that? Or
Wow.
what did he mean by that? It's the body, because you're hearing the words and looking at the body, and there's a disconnect.
Yes. Well, I'm going to close this segment, and I want to thank you. And, wow, much love. Because the next segment is going to be on your religion, and there's a reason for it. Because I honor every religion, especially those who are close to me.